NASA just made the most expensive mistake in space history. $4.2 billion to Boeing, $2.6 billion to SpaceX. Same job. SpaceX, perfect record, dozens of successful flights. Boeing nearly killed 2 astronauts, stranded them for 9 months, lost $500 million last year alone. Now Trump and Musk are at war. SpaceX might get shut down, and NASA is crawling back to Boeing's broken spacecraft, the same one that can't even reach the space station without major failures. Why does NASA keep throwing money at failure while ignoring success? The truth behind this $4 billion disaster will blow your mind. Let's dive right in. $4.2 billion disaster. Inside NASA's biggest mistake. The day everything changed. June 2024. 2 American astronauts are strapped inside Boeing's Starliner capsule. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams wave goodbye to their families. 8 days on the International Space Station. That's the plan. 8 days becomes 9 months. Their families watch in horror as NASA scrambles for answers. The thrusters that should bring them home? Broken. A tiny Teflon seal swells up, blocks the oxidizer flow, and suddenly, 2 lives hang in the balance. But here's what makes your blood boil. While Butch and Sunita are trapped in space, getting paid $4 a day, SpaceX's Dragon sits perfectly ready on Earth. Proven, reliable, ready to rescue them in hours. So why doesn't NASA use it? The answer takes us back to 2014, back to a decision that would waste billions of your tax dollars, back to the moment NASA chose politics over people. The backroom deal that broke NASA. Picture the scene. NASA conference room, 2014. The agency has a simple mission. Get 2 companies to build spacecraft. Competition drives innovation. Redundancy saves lives. Boeing walks in with something SpaceX doesn't have. Power. Decades of government contracts, lobbyists in every corner of Washington, former NASA administrators on their payroll, relationships built over 50 years of aerospace dominance. SpaceX, they're the newcomers, the rebels, the company that dares to ask, why do rockets cost so much? When the contracts drop, the numbers are staggering. Boeing gets $4.2 billion. SpaceX gets $2.6 billion. Same job, same requirements, same timeline. Boeing convinced NASA they deserve more money because they were experienced, more reliable, more safe. The irony? It's about to destroy them. 2 companies, 2 destinies. What happens next is a masterclass in how money doesn't buy success. SpaceX takes their $2.6 billion. They build everything in-house, engines designed from scratch, electronics crafted to perfection, flight computers that think faster than human pilots, even the spacesuits tailored for maximum safety. They control every bolt, every wire, every line of code. Boeing? They outsource everything. The thrusters, built by Aerojet Rocketdyne, the same company that charges NASA $4.4 billion to refurbish 16 old shuttle engines. 16 engines, $4.4 billion. Meanwhile, SpaceX builds brand new engines for 1/25 the cost. But the real difference shows up when these spacecraft actually fly. Dragon launches in 2020, perfect mission. Then another, then another. Astronauts can't stop talking about it. NASA's Bob Behnken calls it like riding a living machine. Raw power, precision engineering, the future of space travel. Starliner, still sitting on the ground, problem after problem, delay after delay. 2021 passes. 2022, 2023, 2024, close Starliner styles. Travic, Dragon flies dozens of missions. Starliner flies none. Here's the question that should make you furious. If you're NASA, watching this disaster unfold in real time, why do you keep paying Boeing? The money hemorrhage. The numbers are absolutely insane. Boeing records over $2 billion in losses on Starliner. $2 billion gone. In 2024 alone, they lose $523 million, the biggest single-year loss in the program's history. But NASA keeps writing checks. Every seat on Starliner costs $90 million. Remember when NASA complained about paying Russia $90.3 million for a Soyuz ride? They said it was too expensive. Dragon costs $55 million per seat, cheaper, reliable, actually works. So why does NASA choose the expensive failure over the cheap success? Because this isn't about engineering anymore. This is about corruption. The corruption nobody talks about. Here's the twist that changes everything. Boeing didn't just lobby for that contract, they bought the entire system. Former NASA administrators join Boeing's board the day they retire. Boeing executives get hired straight into NASA leadership positions. It's a revolving door spinning so fast it makes you dizzy. But the real corruption runs deeper. It's the mindset that traditional aerospace companies deserve taxpayer money simply because they've existed longer, even when they fail, again and again and again. SpaceX proves they can do the job better, faster, cheaper. They revolutionize spaceflight. They make America the undisputed space leader again. Yet NASA props up Boeing's failure. Why? Because admitting Boeing was wrong means admitting NASA's entire system is broken, that they chose political connections over engineering excellence, that they wasted $4.2 billion of your money, and that's a truth Washington isn't ready to face. The crisis exploding right now. But now everything's falling apart. Trump and Musk are at war. The details are still emerging. But here's what we know. Musk threatens to shut down Dragon if the political pressure continues. Think about that for one terrifying second. The only reliable way to get American astronauts to space might disappear because of a personal feud. NASA's backup plan? The same Starliner that nearly killed 2 astronauts. The same spacecraft that's been almost ready for 5 years. The same program that burns through billions with nothing to show. But here's the part that should absolutely terrify you. NASA is seriously considering this. They're planning to rely on Boeing's broken machine as their primary spacecraft. The machine that can't complete a single mission without catastrophic failure. What the astronauts really think. Want to know the truth? Listen to the people who actually risk their lives in these machines. After flying Dragon, astronauts call it phenomenal. Really fun to ride. The best spacecraft ever built. Japanese astronaut Soichi Noguchi says 2 days in Dragon created remarkable memories. Compare that to Starliner. Astronauts get stuck for 9 months. NASA still can't explain what went wrong. The people brave enough to train for Starliner missions? NASA won't even assign them yet. Maybe they can't find anyone willing to risk it. The astronauts have made their choice crystal clear. They know which spacecraft works. Yet NASA keeps ignoring their voices. Why? Because acknowledging the truth means admitting the biggest procurement disaster in space history, the real stakes. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about America's future in space. China launches new missions every month. Russia rebuilds their space program. They watch America's space leadership crumble because of corporate politics and personal grudges. Every day, Starliner sits broken while Dragon gets sidelined. America loses ground in the space race that will define the next century. But there's something even more disturbing. NASA knows Dragon works. They know Starliner doesn't. They know Boeing has wasted billions while SpaceX delivered miracles. Yet they're choosing failure over success. Why? Because fixing this mess requires admitting they were wrong. It requires holding Boeing accountable for burning through taxpayer money. It requires putting engineering over politics. And some people in Washington would rather watch America lose the space race than admit they made the biggest procurement mistake in NASA's 70-year history. The question everyone's asking. So here we are. SpaceX builds the best spacecraft in human history for $2.6 billion. Boeing builds nothing that works for $4.2 billion. NASA chooses Boeing. Astronauts get stranded for 9 months while the rescue ship sits unused on the ground. NASA still chooses Boeing. The future of American space exploration hangs in the balance of a Twitter feud between 2 billionaires. And NASA? They're training astronauts to fly on a spacecraft that might kill them, while the safe option sits in political timeout. The $4.2 billion question isn't just why NASA chose Boeing over SpaceX. It's why they keep choosing Boeing. Even now, even after everything we've seen, even when American lives depend on making the right choice. The final verdict. So here's what we know. $4.2 billion bought us nothing but failure. $2.6 billion gave us the future of spaceflight. NASA chose politics over engineering. Corporate connections over astronaut safety. And now, American space dominance hangs by a thread. But this story isn't over. Boeing's still burning taxpayer money. SpaceX is building the next generation of spacecraft. And somewhere in Washington, the same people who made this mess are making new decisions about America's space future. The real question isn't whether NASA will learn from this disaster. The question is whether we'll let them repeat it. What other government programs are choosing expensive failure over proven success right now? What other $4 billion mistakes are hiding in plain sight? And most importantly, when you see your tax dollars disappearing into corporate black holes, what are you going to do about it? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story shocked you, and subscribe to Space Corps because we are just getting started uncovering the truth behind America's space program. The next story we're investigating: how NASA's Mars program might be facing the exact same corruption that destroyed Starliner. You won't want to miss that one.